Welcome to the journal. Hello and welcome to the journal. This is the beginning of my journal entries. I want to welcome you on this journey with me. I hope that you learn something. I hope that something that I say, that I share, encourages you and blesses you, pushes you to keep going. I hope that my experience can bless someone else and can be a stepping stone for the next person. That's the whole purpose of the journal, to encourage, inspire, and to push other parents of special needs children, and also just to push others to believe that you can make it through whatever circumstance that you're going through. So let's get into it. Entry 1, waiting on the promise. I want to start off by saying, sometimes when you desire something, it takes time to get there. And it takes time to receive what it is that you're waiting for. And so as I talk about these things, I've been reflecting on waiting on the promise, which was my son. The journey was long, it was hard. Sometimes it seemed like it may never happen, but it was necessary to build me up, to strengthen me for the task ahead, which I didn't know what it would be at that time. So starting out my process to becoming a mother, for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a mommy. I wanted to be a mother. I have loved children my entire life. It's just been a part of me, nurturing and caring for children and people just in general. I've always wanted to be a mother. And so just the process of becoming a mother was not as easy as I intended or expected it to be. It was much of a challenge throughout the beginning stages of my marriage, and just wanting children. I had suffered several miscarriages, and it was just really challenging and hard. I was diagnosed with PCOS, which some people may know about now because it's become a thing that people are talking about more often, but it wasn't really something that you heard about unless you were diagnosed. I was diagnosed early with PCOS, and several women in my family have suffered with PCOS, and I like to call it a silent disease because, you know, many people don't know what it is and don't know how it affects you, and it's not something you see on the exterior, so you suffer silently. You go through infertility issues, you go through hormonal imbalance, all of the things that affect your reproductive organs. There are a lot of symptoms that come along with PCOS, like infertility is the major thing, but miscarriages, you can have hormonal imbalance, weight gain, you can grow hair in places that you don't want. A lot of women get facial hair. It can affect your self-esteem, and it can also play on your mental and emotional, because, you know, when you don't feel like you look a certain type of way, sometimes that affects your self-esteem. And women with PCOS deal with that weight gain, water retention, things like that affect your, you know, how you look and how you feel sometimes. So it can play a major role on how you feel from day to day. And then just as a woman, when you can't produce, or when you're told that you won't be able to have children, or when you're told it may never happen, or it may be hard, or you might be high risk, it can make you lose hope. And for me, I think at one point I got discouraged, but I don't think I ever lost hope. And I'm grateful that I never lost hope. I continued to try to push and to work on whatever I could work on to be able to receive my promise. And so, of course, ultimately I did receive my promise, but it didn't come as quickly as I wanted it to. So the process of waiting for the promise is hard for any promise that you're waiting on. Whether it be a child, whether it be a marriage, whether it be a job or a house, or whatever it is that you're a business that you're going on a venture to start, the waiting process is always challenging. And sometimes people want to sit and wait, but I don't think you necessarily should sit and wait. You have to continue to go forward and push forward until the promise is fulfilled. It's like the scripture that says, in due season you shall reap the harvest if you faint not. And I paraphrased, I didn't say the full scripture, but basically, if you sow and you keep sowing no matter how long, eventually you will reap from what you've sown. You just have to keep working and keep pressing and keep pushing, and ultimately you will reap the benefits of your harvest. For me, it took years to receive my promise. It took years for me to have a successful pregnancy. After 5 miscarriages and a lot of heartache and pain after each one, you feel like you lose something after you've lost a child in miscarriage. You never get to see your child or hold your child, or even know what they were gonna look like or anything. That is a hard situation to deal with. So any loss is hard, but healing from the losses and being able to find the strength to keep trying and keep going can sometimes be hard. But God, if you have a relationship with God, nothing is impossible for him. So you have to keep trusting and having faith that ultimately you will receive your promise. And I waited. My son was prophesied several times. Even, he was prophesied I may have had a miscarriage after the prophecy, and I get another prophecy and I would have another loss. But after so many times of hearing you're going to have a child, God promised me that. I had to stand on his promises, and his promises are true. And we have to remember that his promises are true. What he says, he means, and he will fulfill it. Not in our time, but in his time. And if we continue to believe that, we'll receive that promise ultimately. So what do you do in the wait? You pray, you believe, you trust God, and you keep moving. You keep going through your day-to-day, and you stand on his word. You remind him of the promise he made to you. God, you promised that you were going to give me this. You promised that you would never leave me nor forsake me. You promised that no weapon formed against me shall promise. You promised me that you would fulfill my desires. And so when you believe and trust God. When you pray and you keep moving, you keep working, and you keep sowing, you will ultimately reap the promise. So I encourage you, if you are in a season of waiting, wait with expectation. Wait believing that God will fulfill the promise, and He will. Not in your time, but in His time. So I pray that my journal entry of waiting for the promise encourages you to wait for whatever it is, but wait in expectation, believing that God is going to show up. If it's healing, believe that He can do it. If it's a child, trust that He's going to fulfill the promise in His time. If it's a marriage, trust that He's going to bring your mate to you, and it's going to be who He intends for you to be with. Whatever you're waiting for, wait in expectation and believe that He will fulfill it. See you next time for journal entry number 2.